It is time to bring in none other than Ruth Epstein. Ruth, of course, from the Republican American, covers our area. Here's Ruth.
Yes.
There she is. Okay. Hi, Ruth.
Good morning.
It's been one of those mornings. And yesterday morning was one of those mornings, too. That's okay.
Dear. Sorry about that.
Hey.
Anyway.
It happens.
It happens. Busy weekend.
Yeah.
Lots going on. We were at a talk, interesting talk about making paper at Noble Horizons. A Crane company makes paper for U.S. currency. That was kind of fun. There was art show at Sharon Historical Society and the Mad Hatter's cocktail party for the Habitat at the Grove. So busy time.
And we had a lot that was postponed. The fundraising soccer game.
Yep.
Was postponed. The Oktoberfest in North Canton was postponed.
Oh, was it? Oh, I assumed it was outdoors, so it would have been.
So that's
and
postponed.
the Kids Audubon.
That will be held this coming Sunday.
Right.
And if it rains this coming Sunday,
forget it.
That's it. That's right. Because you're into the first weekend in November.
Yeah. Usually the Cannonball Run is the first Saturday.
That's
in
coming
November.
up. It's coming up. That's coming up this weekend.
It is this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't quite sure.
It's the first Saturday in October, in November.
November,
right?
yes.
Okay.
And obviously we've been spending a lot of time on politics with the November 6th election coming up. Chris Murphy was in town. He was in Sharon yesterday at a fundraiser, and then went to Kent to see the pop-up headquarters. So he's been all around the northwest corner. And as we know, we have a hot race in the 64th district with Brian Oler, the incumbent Republican, challenged by Democrat Maria Horn. Brian's from Canaan and Maria's from Salisbury. So eyes are on that one.
Actually, I also think the race that has gotten interesting is the other race for the Senate position.
Craig Minor versus David Lawson.
Yeah. Lawson is really putting a big time effort into this.
Yes, he is. Yep. He is a New Milford retired teacher, and Craig is a Litchfield legislator. So, and the message is, as we all know, please get out there and vote. You have the privilege and the right, where in a lot of countries you don't, so use it. That's a big plug.
And I'm going to just second that plug by saying, and by the way, find out what these, get out there and vote, and find out what the candidates, from the candidates.
Yes.
What they represent. Try not to filter that through friends and particularly social media. Find out what the candidates stand for. See where you relate to that, and make your decision.
Absolutely. And another plug is there are 2 constitutional questions on the ballot this year. And according to Chris, the ballot is two-sided, and those questions are on the other side. So I hope people will look at the ballots carefully and realize that there are 2 questions that really need to be addressed.
Why don't they leave them on the same side?
I think there was no room. I think there was a problem with space.
That's one of those things that just doesn't usually end well.
Yeah, I believe that's what he said.
I will bet you 50% of the people don't turn it over.
I would not bet you on that one. I wouldn't take that one.
And it's a clear 50 because you go in, you've made the time to vote, and you're not busy turning it over, looking at it upside down, and so forth.
Exactly. You're focused on the candidates. Yep.
You're focused on making that filling in that dot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And doing it correctly so that it can't be outside the line. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it doesn't. You don't turn it over at the end. If you signed it, that'd be different.
Right. Exactly. So I'm headed up this morning to the high school for what does a graduate look like? Seminar. They're holding 2 today, one from 9 to noon, and I believe the other from 6 to 9 tonight. This administration is hoping to get people out to talk about what they would like to see in a Housatonic graduate. There's so much talk about the skills they need, and are there local businesses that aren't getting employees, just aren't skilled enough, or not knowing what they need to look at or study. So hopefully there'll be a good turnout there, and we'll get some answers, since that is a big issue.
Other than that, it's going to be quiet this week.
It's going to be very quiet, except for Halloween trick or treaters. Yes.
And like in Salisbury, the streets that are closed are normally closed. North Canaan has their
Exactly.
streets that normally close, so it's safe for trick or treaters. And
Right. But let's not jinx ourselves and say quiet. We
Right,
never
that's-
know.
well,
That's
weather's,
never-
the weather's meant to be okay. It might be a shower or two, but it's going to be in the 50s. So
good.
So
which
it'll
is
be
always
warm.
better than
It'll be warm for the trick or treaters
That's
out
good
there.
because when it's freezing, it's brutal in their little skimpy costumes.
Well, I was talking with our meteorologist earlier this morning, and he said, "Don't you like Halloween?" So I said, "I've never liked Halloween. As a kid, used to get into a costume and used to go out in the cold weather." And all I did as a kid, we had these little cans. We used to collect money to feed the
UNICEF,
for
yeah.
for UNICEF.
And then we'd go to a party.
They were
we were
cartons.
freezing cold. We'd go to a party. And you turn all your UNICEF cans in, and there was always one kid that had like $5,000 or something like that, and you had like 36 cents.
Right.
And you turned it in. Then there was a little party with cake and everything. Then you went out, and the big kids made fun of you in your costume. So I always hated that.
I loved Halloween.
And then when I became an adult, and I used to go to Halloween parties as a teenager in the 20s, you'd get all dressed up and you'd go out and you'd start to have a good time and you go to a Halloween party. And at the Halloween party, you're sweating like a pig inside your costume. So I never really liked.
Just couldn't win.
I just never really liked
It's
Halloween.
really funny. There are those who love Halloween. I'm not one of them. I'm not
Ruth,
crazy about it.
my mother lived on a mountaintop.
Yeah.
And used to decorate her house from top to bottom and have enough candy to feed the army. And you know who would come and
nobody
visit
came.
her? Dale Jones would bring his kids when Dale. That was it.
Yeah, as I say, there are those who it's gotten to be bigger than Christmas for some people, and those who don't. We live on a street that gets 400 children, so we
That's
are.
fantastic. I've lived on Music Mountain for I don't know how long, and if I buy candy,
You eat it.
Well, it's like my mother. I swear my mother used to pretend to like Halloween because she liked to eat the candy the rest of the year.
or my dad, who was always he definitely curated. I mean this, the candy that was purchased.
Yes.
And trick or treating in New York lacks a certain je ne sais quoi. You sign up, in those sort of fancy buildings. You sign up, you put your name on a list, and then you get in the elevator with your friends. And so it doesn't. I'm a much more downtown type when it comes to that.
But also nowadays, worst comes to worst, you wear a Halloween costume, and if it's not politically correct, you get
egged.
hassled for it.
Yeah. So much for
mayonnaise.
our Halloween diatribe.
Okay, well, ladies, that being said, happy Halloween.
Thank you.
All right.
The same to you, and onward and upward, and we'll talk next week.
Okay, Ruth.
Thanks, guys. Take
Hey,
care.
I want you to go out dressed as
Yeah.
as who you want to scare
I just
people,
can't
all right?
wait.
No, I'm not going to go there.
I don't know if this is going to be helpful.
Governor Dan Malloy. That'll scare people.
All right.
Okay.
You think you're out to raise his taxes? All right.
All right, guys.
Take care, Ruth.
Bye.
Ruth Epstein with the Republican American Report here on Robin Hood Radio.